Ballet, a beautiful, technical, and elegant dance that is studied and performed by dancers worldwide. Oh look, there's ballet in Japan.
Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter.
Hello people, Siku Senpai here, and today we are here to review the lovely anime from the recent spring 2022 anime season, Dance Dance Desho. So sit down, relax, grab some snacks because we have some stuff to talk about. And if you happen to watch the anime, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. So without further ado, let's do this. Dance Dance Desho is originally a manga by George Asakura, serialized in Big Comic Spirits, from September 2015 to the present day. It is also the first anime adaptation of her many works, so congrats on that! The manga adaptation is by the lovely Studio Mappa, as this is one of the many projects that they're currently working on. The director is Sakai Munehisa, who's also directed Zombieland Saga Seasons 1 and 2, Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon Crystal, and a number of One Piece episodes, and has also done work on other projects. As for the voice acting cast, we have some big names: Yamashita Daiki voicing Junpei, Uchiyama Koki, who voices Lou, and Hando Kaede, who does the voice of Miyako, not to mention a number of other characters voiced by some great voice actors and actresses. As for the story, in short, Dance Dance Desho is a ballet anime that follows Junpei Morale, who discovers an interest in ballet as a little child, but after being teased by his classmates and the following passing of his father on the same day, jeez. Following those events, however, he forgets about his interest in ballet and decides to do a more manly sport. Years later, after showing off his Jeet Kune Do in school, he does a spin kick that combines both martial arts and ballet. Catching the eye of his classmate, Godai Miyako, a ballet dancer, Junpei begins his journey of relighting his previous passion for ballet, while also balancing this passion with his outer appearance. And yeah, that is Dance Dance Desho, at least on the surface. From start to end, the storyline is actually more complex, with not only each character having more than one layer to them, but the storyline taking unexpected twists and turns. And the best way to go through it is by breaking the anime into two arcs, which I call Junpei Origin Story, Ballet Begins, and Oikawa Ballet School, True Ballet. In the first arc, as briefly mentioned before, we focus on Junpei rediscovering his prior passion for ballet after his encounter with Miyako, whom he's not only crushing on, but also taking free lessons from her mother, who teaches ballet. Between free lessons with an upcoming show of the Swan Lake that he needs to practice for, and also not telling anyone about his private ballet lessons, Junpei finds himself in a position where he's unsure whether or not he wants to fully commit to ballet, hoping his decision to do so isn't one that will harm his image. While we're at it, Junpei's image is an interesting one. He's a teenage boy who's honest with his feelings towards others, gets along with his classmates, and is a quote-unquote friendly, cool guy who excels in many athletics. Yet, this is also the cause of his internal struggle. He's so focused on believing that what he does is what it means to be a man or be manly. And him doing ballet, a sport and dance that's primarily on the surface feminine, the complete opposite of the type of image he's been yearning for, he begins to not only lie to his friends and family, but also himself. This, however, changes with the introduction of Lou, Miyako's cousin and prodigy dancer. By the way, dancer is the name of a male ballet dancer. Fun fact. With Lou's dancing dazzling Junpei, and also making him jealous of him dancing with Miyako, Junpei takes up more lessons, even learning that his body is actually built for ballet, almost as though born for it. Fast forward, and a lot of events occur, with Ju and Lunpei both choking each other.
What?
Lou goes to school and is bullied by his classmates. We learn that his mother is a celebrity who abandoned him when he was little. Then there was the event where he's forced to cross-dress for the school festival and ends up doing ballet. But this is the vital moment when Junpei realizes that doing manly things isn't what defines being a man. It's putting pantyhose on your head and telling your friends you quit the sports and activities you do with them to pursue your interest in ballet. Like, what the heck is this, Junpei? I know you wanted to get your friends to stop bullying Lou and also admit your interest in ballet, but man,
You look ridiculous.
Anyways, practices for the Swan Lake performance goes well, and the show goes on. But Junpei, oh man, this dude Junpei is in a trance. While we're at the performance, I gotta hand it to Mappa, cause the visuals are excellent in this episode. I mean, look at this red. Then again, the animation style throughout the anime isn't necessarily one that's top tier, but whenever we see the characters dancing or they want to highlight the feeling either the characters are trying to convey or what others see is done really well. Anyways, back to the performance. Junpei's trance becomes a problem during the end, when Junpei's character is supposed to die, but he keeps getting up and going off script, yearning to stay on stage longer, causing Lu to improvise and eventually kill him in the performance. Though the audience enjoyed the performance, even calling for an encore, in the end, the judge, Oikawa Ayaka, who leads a well-known ballet school, tells them a cold hard truth, that what they did is not classical ballet, and even telling Junpei that he's not fit for ballet. This then leads to... Following the events of the performance, many students leave Godai Ballet School because they only enrolled there to be acknowledged by Oikawa Ballet School. And Junpei, feeling responsible, which he is, decides to right the wrongs by attending Oikawa's ballet summer camp. Unannounced. Gosh, it's like I vibe this guy Junpei's energy, but at the same time he does stuff like this. He also drags Lu along with him. At the summer camp, Junpei actually learns a lot, improving his skills and even learning of Oikawa's SS class, in which, by the end of the summer camp, a single individual will be selected and given a scholarship. We also get to meet a few other students in the ballet school, the earlobe one, the playboy one, and the typical MC looking one. We learn what's at stake for each of them if they don't get the scholarship, and everything is going well. Junpei even kinda befriends Oikawa's daughter, Natsuki, who shares a bit of Junpei's passion and transfer ballet. And if you're like me, I'm shipping the heck out of these two. But... Since the start of this arc, I've always known not to trust this playboy guy, and here's why. Since the start, he's been keeping an eye on Junpei and Lu, mainly because if he doesn't get the scholarship, his parents want him to quit ballet. Noticing Lu's skills and Junpei's quick improvements, he basically devised a plan to push Miyako and Junpei together so that Lu gets jealous and goes back to his abusive grandmother who trained him. Which does work, because Lu does go. However, this is on the same day as the last day of the summer camp. Speaking of which, if Junpei goes, he will be given the chance of SS class. This is because prior, Oikawa actually told Junpei she wants to choose him and make him the face of her ballet dance movement for Japan. What? But due to an altercation with the playboy dude, who's upset that Junpei is now interested in trying for the SS class, Junpei decides not to go and instead try and push Lu instead. But since Lu already left for his grandmother, Miyako and Junpei run after him. On the train ride there, Miyako explains the background of Lu and her grandmothers, which is really important if you want to understand the character of Lu, which I will talk about in this review, but I am saving for another video soon, so keep an eye out for it. But for the sake of this video, in short, between Lu's mother's abandonment and him yearning for his grandmother's acknowledgement, Lu doesn't have anyone except for Miyako who cares for him, or more so a person he can rely on. Understanding that, Junpei tells Miyako they have to break up, basically telling her, you need to stay by his side since he needs you. They meet with him and they reenact the Swan Lake finale performance. And the visuals again are so good. The emotions every character carries comes out of the screen. The angles, lighting, and music even add more depth to it. In the end, his grandmother doesn't acknowledge him, and Miyako comforts Lu while Junpei leaves, officially cutting ties with Godai Ballet. Later on, the summer class is wrapping up, and just as it's about to end, our protagonist comes crashing in, wet and all, forcing Oikawa to watch and dazzling everyone in the room with his ballet. As they watch, we see each character critique Junpei, even after he falls and ends up improvising part of the Swan Lake and doing contemporary material that he happened to watch online. But the main highlight of his performance is that despite him not perfectly displaying classical ballet, his presence is strong. He changes the atmosphere with just a jump. He makes everyone watch, and the most vital, he is naturally talented. Which I feel is a theme that anime was trying to convey from start to end. Junpei is a naturally talented ballet dancer, with some fine-tuning and consistent practice can one day master classical ballet. On the other hand, we have many characters like Lu and even the playboy guy who after years of practice become great, but will still lack some qualifications or skills that someone who's talented can do naturally. Anyways, Junpei pledges his commitment to Oikawa Ballet. She accepts and chooses him for the scholarship, meaning that he is now a certified student at Oikawa Ballet. And that's the end. Overall, I went into this anime thinking I would only watch the first few episodes and eventually drop it. But as you can gather from everything I've said thus far, I really enjoy this anime. For 11 episodes, I think the pacing was well done, with each episode making me want to see more. If you enjoyed this anime, then definitely check out the following anime and manga. La Magnifique, Grand Scene, Glass No Common, Princess Tutu, Welcome to the Ballroom. Anyways, that's all really. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. This is my first review video, I think, on the channel, so yeah, let me know what y'all thought about this. Let me know what things you would like to see me improve on for these, maybe some things I could add for them. I wanted to really just highlight mainly just aspects of the storyline that I enjoyed while also, going through the storyline and touching upon the characters and some scenes. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I plan on doing some more reviews for the other anime airing this season, so keep an eye out for those, or anime that were airing this season, because the season is pretty much closing. So yeah, keep an eye out for those. I also plan on doing an in-depth video on Lou's character, because his journey was really interesting throughout the anime. I think just deserves a separate video on its own. So yeah, anyways, that's all I have to say. In the comments below, let me know what y'all thoughts were on Dance Dance Desha and my review. Let me know about these recommendations, if there's any here that you watched or read, and what you thought about them, and what were your favorite shows for the spring season. Again, thank you for tuning in, and that's all I have to say. Enjoy your day, night, week, year, and all the other stuff. That's all. Peace and out.